Welcome back to Vic's Projects. I hope you're well. Today we're in the Mercedes SL and we're sorting out a really annoying little niggle, which is this clock. So just like most Mercedes of the era, my clock has stopped working, and I bet yours has too. So we're going to pull her out and figure out what's going wrong. With it on the bench, we can start taking it apart. One thing of note, I'm not sure if my connector here has actually got the back to it, because surely that should just live on those plugs rather than just, otherwise why would you have it? Anyway, we're going to start taking this apart. A couple of screws on the back, we'll see how we go. Well, with my warranty well and truly voided, taking off that little warranty seal, we can now have a look at what is inside our clock. Now, in the earlier models of SL, much like mine here, we have a mechanical clock. If this was a later one, this clock would be actually in the main instrument cluster, and two, it would be a quartz clock. And what normally happens with them is the capacitors inside dry out, and all you have to do is replace those capacitors. There's plenty of things online, go have a look there. But our one is a mechanical clock. So what's happened here? And it's pretty obvious when we first start looking at it. Before we go any further, I have to issue a health warning right now. If you're into fine timepieces, you might want to look away. But remember, this is not a Jaeger from an old Bentley. This is a pretty crude mechanical clock from a mid-70s Mercedes. So there's a couple of key components for our clock here. There's the main clock mechanism itself, and then over on this side we've got the automatic winder. So as this ticks along here, this guy here will, if I just lift that up, you'll see that weight will come down. Those two will connect. That will then charge or connect the circuit for the automatic winder, which will then push this all the way up, and then that spring in there is going to drag that round and actually wind up the clock, so it just keeps winding itself up. However, as you probably notice from me spinning that one there, that little oscillator, the mechanism is actually seized on this old clock. So it's quite common for old mechanical devices like this. So all the very light lubrication that is in here has clearly failed somehow. So, and it's not surprising after about 50 odd years. So we need to re-lubricate it. Now the first thing I'm going to do is actually clean off some of that old lubrication. So we're just going to spray in here with some standard brake cleaner, and then we're going to use a very light lubricant, so WD-40, to just lubricate that mechanism and hopefully free it all off. Now you don't want to leave the brake cleaner on for too long, so use compressed air or blow on it or something like that to dry it off as quickly as possible. Now, having let this sit for a day, so remember the WD-40 is both a light oil and a penetrant as well. If I turn this winder on here, there we go, she's ticking away like a beautiful little clock. So it didn't actually tick fully when I first came to this before I turned the camera on. So what I had to do was just put a little bit of pressure on this here just to get the mechanism to start turning around. So it did tick, but if you let it go, it would run out of puff and just stop. So just keep giving that a little bit there, allowed the mechanism to all start turning, that WD-40 to just work its way into all these little bits. And now she spins absolutely beautiful. I've done a few winds on it and it runs all the way down lovely. So with our mechanical clock mechanism actually now ticking away, the next part of the puzzle is how do we wind that up? So I'm not sure how well it's going to come out on this camera, so I'll try and get some B-roll footage with my phone but in here is the auto winder, and I've noticed all the solder joints are just a little bit, well, they're not really there, they're falling apart. So we're just going to put a little dab of solder, refresh the joints there, and hopefully when we put power onto this fella, that little solenoid will push and wind up our clock. It will then release and allow it to tick down. Well, moment of truth, with this all connected up, let's see if our auto winder actually winds up our clock. Oh, yes, very cool. That's so cool. With this all buttoned up, there's one little job left to do, and that is this little adjuster here is to set some of the tension on our balance spring. So what we do is we set the time on here, let it run for about half an hour, and then see how well it keeps time, and then just give that screw a little adjust backwards or forwards until you get it running about right. While I'm putting this back in, it's good to mention that you don't want too much WD-40 left on all those gears, so clean it up as best you can. She's ticking! Well, what do you know, we managed to fix the old mechanical clock in this Mercedes, and what a satisfying little job it was. Okay, sure, if you're a proper watchsmith, you want to strip the whole thing down, put it in an ultrasonic bath and put the proper oil on it, but for this old thing, this was absolutely perfect and I couldn't be happier. So that's it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time on Fixed Projects.